Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. I'm 31 female, married to my husband, 33 male. Recently, my sister-in-law, 35 female, asked if she could host her child's first birthday party at our house. She lives in a small apartment with limited space, so we agreed to help out. The day of the party arrived and sister-in-law brought over all the food and decorations. The event went smoothly, and everyone seemed to have a good time. However, at the end of the party, sister-in-law packed up all the leftovers and took them home. She didn't stay to help tear down the decorations, clean up dishes, or tidy up anything. My husband and I were left to handle all the cleanup ourselves. A few days later, sister-in-law contacted me and asked if we could reimburse her for half the cost of the food and decorations. I was surprised and told her that we had already contributed by offering our home for the party. I also mentioned that we did all the cleanup without any help from her. She argued that since we and our friends enjoyed the food and the party, it's only fair that we split the costs. I feel like she's taking advantage of our generosity. We provided the venue and handled all the post-party cleanup. Yet she wanted us to pay for half the expenses and took all the leftovers. Now she's upset and says that we are being petty. Since we can easily afford the cost, she wants us to help because she went over the planned budget too. My husband is considering paying her just so we won't have to deal with the drama, but I'm against it. Thoughts? Update. A few days ago, sister-in-law showed up at our house unannounced. She dropped off her baby at our doorstep and said she needed us to watch her for a few hours while she ran some errands. Before I could respond, she made a snide remark about how we still hadn't paid her back for the party costs. She said this loudly, and unfortunately our neighbor overheard the comment, which was quite embarrassing. I saw red. I told her that it was inappropriate to drop off her child without prior agreement and that we weren't available to babysit. I also told that we wouldn't be reimbursing her because her kid's party is her problem, not ours. She became upset and accused me of being selfish and unsupportive. I asked her to take her child with her as we couldn't watch her on such short notice. Now she's even more furious and has been bad-mouthing us to other family members. Some are saying we should have just watched the child to keep the peace, while others think she's overstepping boundaries. We are going no contact with her for the time being until she decides to genuinely apologize and make amends. Your sister-in-law sounds overbearing and annoying, OP, and I think you're right to go no contact with her and just remove yourself from her life. I wouldn't ask you to hold your breath because I'm sure she's never going to do the self-reflection that would help her realize she was at fault in this whole situation. You and your husband were being super nice to her by letting her use your apartment to host her child's birthday, and yet all she did to repay your kindness was ask you to pay her back for the food you ate at the party. She sounds like a headache, and I hope you don't let her back into your lives. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for drunkenly proposing to my girlfriend at my best friend's wedding reception? I was the best man at my best friend's wedding about 4 months ago. I had never been to a wedding before, but had a great time. And it was amazing seeing my best friend, since childhood, get married. I have a pretty nervous disposition, so the fact that I would be making a speech at some point during the day, I drank a bit more than I should have. My girlfriend and I have been together for about 3 years and have decided that we are going to wait a bit to get married, as she's been through a lot recently. I'm not big on the whole marriage thing, so I told her that was absolutely fine and we would wait. The wedding reception rolls around. I make my speech. I take advantage of the open bar. My girlfriend was also at the bride's wedding party, so she was off with her friends most of the day. It got to 10 p.m. and I was pretty drunk, so my girlfriend found me and took me outside to have some fresh air. Whilst we were there, we had a super amazing deep chat about life, and I thought to myself, why not? Let's propose. It was outside, but we were still in the eye view of everyone in the reception. And a few people were already looking to make sure I was okay as they knew how drunk I was. I proposed expecting her to be overjoyed, but instead she started crying and ran inside. My best friend came over and asked what the F I thought I was doing proposing at his wedding, and his new wife was pissed. Because instead of enjoying her wedding, she was now having to console my girlfriend, who was pissed off that I'd even thought of proposing whilst drunk. My girlfriend decided we needed to take a break and the majority of my friends aren't speaking to me. But I was drunk, and I do love my girlfriend. Am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole on all accounts, OP. I totally understand why your girlfriend wants a break and why your friends are mad at you. You got so drunk on your best friend's wedding day and thought proposing to your girlfriend, after she had told you she wasn't ready, was a good idea. Not only did you hurt her by making such a lazy proposal, but you also disregarded her feelings. Then, you made the groom and bride, who was supposed to be having the best night, clean up the mess you made, because they had to comfort your girlfriend. Yeah, you definitely messed up. Apologize again to everyone. Sincerely own up to what you did, and hope they can forgive you. Now for some comments. Firstly, how do you not understand the social concept of taking away the day from the bride and groom on a normal scale? This is a pretty basic concept to say the least. Secondly, no one, not one single person who matters in this situation, thinks what you did is okay. So I'm confused again how you don't understand. Regardless of what any person says here, supporting you and your decision to propose while intoxicated, the bride, groom, and your ex-girlfriend do not agree. Which is all that matters here. You're the a-hole. You're the a-hole from literally every angle. Proposing at someone else's wedding is always wrong. They didn't spend thousands to be upstaged. But that's not even the worst part. You and your ex-girlfriend had specifically discussed waiting because she had been through a lot lately. But somehow you think it's okay that you decided on her behalf that whatever was going on with her didn't matter anymore. I was drunk is the worst excuse in the book. And it sounds like you haven't apologized or expressed remorse of any kind. And now you see yourself as a victim. You are the worst. You're the a-hole. Being drunk is no excuse. It's made things worse actually because you had full control over it and still chose to get trashed. You were an a-hole to your girlfriend. You admitted she's going through a rough patch and didn't want to get engaged anytime soon. She also probably expected this moment to be special. You know, you choose the right ring, take her to a romantic venue, and make it a memorable event all about her. Not some drunken confession because you were feeling deep in the moment. You were also an ass to your friends. One day that was supposed to be all about the bride and groom, and you couldn't even keep it together to not be completely wasted by 10 p.m. You should apologize profusely to everyone involved. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for telling my sister her wedding dress looks terrible? So my younger sister is getting married towards the end of this year. Family is all excited. As her oldest brother, my duties are pretty much just shut up and be helpful when asked. Last weekend, my sister, my mom, her future mother-in-law and her bridesmaids went dress shopping. My mom sent the rest of the family a picture of the dress she chose in the group. It is not flattering at all and makes my typically very fashionable sister look like a frilly white ghost. Now, I can barely dress myself and pretty much wear jeans and a hoodie every day, but even I can see this dress is not a good dress. My other sister was the first to bring it up in the group text saying the dress looked kinda dumpy, and my mom was trying to do that mom thing by dampening how bad it really was by saying, "Oh, it makes your sister happy. She really loves it." But she too was not a fan. Pretty much the last few days have been my family trying to be positive about this dress, but all fighting internally to like it for my sister's sake. Until this morning, my sister called me to see if I was still in contact with a friend that owns a brewery to see about discounts on beer for the wedding. Now, I love my sister, and I would want to know if I was in her situation, so when the talk moved to her dress, I said, "You know, "People aren't a big fan of your dress." She pressed me on more, and I spilled the beans on how we don't think it's flattering, and maybe she rushed the choice. My sister curtly thanked me for telling her and apparently made immediate calls to my mom, her bridesmaids, and our other sister. My phone has been on fire for the last few hours with angry people, including a pissed-off grandpa voicemail I couldn't bring myself to listen fully to. The person least upset with me seems to be the bride-to-be. The rest of my family is beyond angry. I, however, feel I did the right thing by being honest when everyone else wasn't. I know it's her day and her dress, and I want her to be happy and confident. But I would hate to have my sister's wedding be talked about after like, "Man, did you see that dress? Horrible. Am I the a-hole here?" Now for some comments. You're the a-hole, and your family is even worse. It's a wedding dress. The only opinion that matters is hers. The reason you're an a-hole and not just the family is because you didn't just inform her that people are bad-mouthing her dress, so she knows they're being a-holes behind her back. But you told her that we think it's bad, meaning you're telling her you think it's bad. Nobody should be telling a bride that her wedding dress is bad. Also, you chose to inform her of their opinions when they might have never intended to hurt her with them. Regardless, that talking about it behind her back is an a-hole move. Everyone sucks here other than the bride. She likes that dress. She bought that dress. Everyone needs to keep their opinions to themselves. She could have picked the most gorgeous dress in the world and it could still look dated and ugly when she looks back at photos 20 years from now. The dress hasn't been altered yet. Her hair wasn't done. Her makeup wasn't done. She didn't have jewelry or flowers. She didn't have a veil or hair accessories. There are a ton of things that contribute to the overall look of a bride. Those things will dramatically change how the dress looks. The best option was for everyone to keep opinions to themselves. It could look fantastic when all the elements come together, but it's ruined for her now. I would say not the a-hole. I have recently been wedding dress shopping. I'm a bridesmaid. The bride-to-be had a dead-set view of what she wanted. A-line dress with a high neckline. She tried on a few dresses and loved them all. Out of curiosity, I suggested she try on a dress that was completely different. Mermaid tail dress, which was more tight-fitting. And she ended up liking that more. My point is, if no one said anything and just said they liked the original wedding dress she had in mind, she wouldn't have looked as amazing as she will now. A bride needs a bridesmaid to be vocal. I'm sure the last thing she would want is to look back on her wedding photos and think, "God, why didn't anyone warn me that I look terrible?" And she may even resent you for it.